It all began on an ordinary flight that turned into a moment of heartbreak. As the plane settled into the air, a woman noticed her husband chatting and laughing with another passenger, a young, confident stranger sitting nearby. What started as a harmless exchange soon crossed the line when the woman flirted openly, complimenting him and mocking his wife, calling her dull and unattractive. The wife tried to stay composed, her voice trembling as she asked the woman to stop. Instead, the stranger leaned in, offering to help her hydrate her skin, an insult wrapped in sarcasm. The humiliation hit hard, not just because of the stranger's cruelty, but because her husband said nothing, no defense, no support, only an embarrassed glance as if she were the problem. In that confined space miles above the ground, her trust began to fall long before the plane ever did. Days later, he dressed in his best suit, filled with new hope. That evening's dinner was more than a formality. It was his chance to impress the company's president and finally secure the vice president position he had been chasing for years. He smiled confidently, rehearsing polite jokes and flattering lines as he waited for the boss to arrive. Everything seemed to be going perfectly until the boss's wife walked in, her presence freezing him in place. It was her, the same woman from the plane. Their eyes met for just a second, but it was enough to bring back every cruel word, every shameful glance. She smiled as if nothing had ever happened, but he could see something in her eyes: power, control, and maybe a touch of vengeance. His stomach turned as he realized fate had seated him at the same table with the ghost of his own betrayal. After the flight, the silence between them felt heavier than the air around them. She expected him to explain, to at least acknowledge how humiliating that moment had been. Instead, he turned the blame on her, saying she'd made a scene and embarrassed him in front of everyone. His words cut deeper than anything that woman on the plane had said. The man she had loved and trusted stood before her, more worried about his image than her feelings. It was as if his heart had boarded a different flight entirely, one that no longer included her. The tenderness that once lived between them had vanished, replaced by coldness and quiet contempt. She realized that the man she married wasn't the same person standing beside her anymore. And sometimes, the cruelest betrayal doesn't come from strangers, it comes from the silence of the one who should have defended you. When the night finally ended, he stood alone, the noise of the restaurant fading behind him. His girlfriend was gone, his career destroyed, and the woman who once tempted him had turned her back without a trace of remorse. Everything he thought he wanted, status, attention, validation, had slipped away like sand through his fingers. For the first time, he saw himself clearly, stripped of excuses and charm. The man who once believed he could have everything had nothing left but regret. Somewhere out there, the wife he had betrayed was rebuilding her strength, learning to live without him, and perhaps even finding peace in the silence he once filled with lies. He finally understood that loyalty and love aren't weaknesses, they are the very foundations of worth. In chasing pleasure, he had lost purpose. And in betraying others, he had ultimately betrayed himself. The dinner that was supposed to seal his success turned into his undoing. As glasses clinked and laughter filled the room, she made her move, twisting the knife with calculated charm. In front of everyone, she exposed his lies, mocking his fake watch, his empty promises, and the illusion of success he had built so carefully. His girlfriend's face turned pale as she realized the truth, the dream of their bright future collapsing in silence. The boss watched with quiet disgust, his once promising candidate now revealed as nothing more than a fraud. Every eye at the table was on him, and there was nowhere left to hide. The power, the admiration, the respect he had craved, all gone in an instant. He had gambled everything for ambition and desire, but the only thing left in his hands now was shame. Sometimes karma doesn't knock, it walks right in wearing a smile. As the evening went on, the tension between them grew, hidden beneath polite smiles and meaningless chatter. When the others turned away, she leaned closer and whispered words that made his blood run cold. She hadn't forgotten what happened on that plane, nor forgiven it. With a sly grin, she reminded him that one word from her could destroy everything he was working for. Then came the ultimatum. He would publicly humiliate his current girlfriend, end things with her in front of everyone, or she'd tell her husband the truth about their affair. For the first time, he saw how deeply tangled his lies had become, how easily the woman he thought was a distraction now held his future in her hands. What had started as a careless flirtation had turned into a weapon, and now, he was the one being played.